A question from Kaya. Why is it so damn expensive? Bitch. I don't know. That is a great question. Because our government sucks? I don't know. Because taxes? Ask Trump. What's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Latera, but most of you that watch me know who I am personally, and that's why I'm making this video. If you've watched my videos before, you're probably noticing that this is not my normal background. You're probably thinking, Latera, where are you? And that's a good question. I haven't seen my mother in 2 weeks. Send help. No, I'm totally kidding. I'm at my friend Chloe's house, the one that you guys met from my birth week video. I'm dog sitting for her currently, but none of the dogs are in this room right now because they're fucking crackheads. I asked a lot of people if they had any questions about high school, about college, because I've went through both. I may not be the best person to ask questions, but I'm probably gonna be the most honest about these things. And I also am gonna be using my laptop today because there's some other things that I also wanted to talk about with you. I'm going to be reading some of those things. I'm going to be reading your guys' questions, and we're just going to get right into it. So my first question is from Abby, and she asked, what is drama like in high school? That is a good question. So drama in high school is shitty. There were a lot of things going on, especially in the school that I grew up in, and where most of the people that I asked went to the same school as me. Our school is super duper tiny. It is a K through 12 building. And some people, when I say that, they're like, that's not tiny, that's huge. But like, think about it. If we can fit K through 12 in one building, that means it's tiny. Like my graduating class only had like 60 something people in it. Because it was so small, drama in high school like escalated and it traveled fast. You barely had time to even finish a sentence before it was already twisted and turned into a rumor, and then drama happened. She didn't necessarily ask this in particular, but like drama for me, I tried to stay out of drama for the most part, but sometimes, like again, it's a small school. You get caught up with the wrong people. That's just for everyone. Like you don't know who you are completely when you start high school, so you don't really know who your friends are either because they don't know who they are, and you try to piece yourself into groups, and sometimes that group is just awful. So it's kind of hard to stay away from drama. Honestly, it really is. A lot of things happened to me in high school, but like it's high school. It's been almost 3 years now since I graduated. Like it's not that big of a deal anymore. It is what it is. So my main advice to you, Abby, is to try your best to stay away from drama. The only thing you can do is just either own up to it if it happened, or like just tell people to fuck off. That's how you do that. My next question is from Katrina. What is the hardest transition from high school to college? Honestly, because I grew up in such a small school, transitioning from high school to college was rough because I didn't have anyone that I knew personally from high school that went to the same college as me. So I had to basically remake friends. It was a different atmosphere, you know, like you are adults now. It was hard. It wasn't awful though. It is different. That is the only thing. It's different. A lot of people don't like change. I personally do not like change. So going from a place where I knew everybody and everything about them to a place where I knew nobody and nothing about them was very weird. You just gotta learn to roll with it, you know? Orientation week for freshmen is like the best thing they could ever do. It's way different from orientation at high school because like they basically tell you, oh yeah, here's your locker. Here's a couple teachers. That's it. That's all they give you. They give you your schedule and that's it. Orientation for college, and they put you in groups and they're like, here, you are this color. You get to meet all these new people, and these are the same people in your classes that you're gonna be taking, and then you get to do this and explore more. So it was hard, but it wasn't the worst. I got this question from a couple different people, from Maddie and Michaela. They both asked, how do you find out where you want to go? And that is a hard question because I personally applied to 2 different colleges. One was Ohio Christian University and one was Spring Arbor. And growing up, I went to a lot of different like Christian camps and stuff like that. So I only had experienced college students and what they were telling me, what they had done at this school and yada yada yada. But now, like thinking back on it, I should have like broadened my horizons more. Like don't just feel confined to one spot, you know? And like if you have older siblings, just because your siblings went there doesn't mean you have to go there. Just because your parents went there doesn't mean you have to go. Trying to choose where you want to go, you have to think about what you want to do. And I know that's like super hard because I've talked about it before. Like you were a baby fresh out of the womb of high school trying to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life, and that is scary. I basically had already known what I wanted to do, which I know is not the most helpful advice, but just think of something that you were very passionate about, like whether it be dance, music, art, anything like that. Something that you did in high school or something that you didn't do in high school, just something you've always wanted to do, and just go with it. You know, college is very flexible. Like if you want to change your major or you don't even want to pick a major, you just want to dabble in a couple things, that's totally fine. Like most colleges that I looked into like allow you to do that. So if you find something that you are passionate about, look into different schools that offer that. Pick between prices and where you want to go. If you want to be as far away from home as possible, if you want to be so close to home that you can breathe down your mother's neck, like whatever you want to do. That's how I ended up choosing Ohio Christian University. It was was only 30 minutes out, but I also had the opportunity to live on campus. I wanted to be close to home, but I didn't want to be at home. So yeah, that's how I ended up choosing, because I grew up in a Christian-based home or whatever, so, and I'd gone to Christian camps and I loved music, and our Christian University had like one of the best music programs and yada yada yada. So that's how I ended up choosing, and that's my advice to you. Just find out what you're passionate about, research different colleges, ask around. This came from Elijah. He said, are teachers mean in high school? Some of them can be, yes. I had a couple mean teachers in high school that made my anxiety just through the roof, but not all of them are mean, if that's what you're asking. Not all teachers are mean, just like not all people are mean. Teachers will lie to your face, lie through their teeth, telling you they don't have a favorite. No, I don't have any favorites. I love all my students. Everyone has a favorite. You do not have to make yourself the favorite. Do not feel like you have to be someone's favorite in order for them to treat you with respect. They dish out to you some rude comment, you better give it right back to them. And if they try to punish you for it, be like, no, you told me this first. To answer your questions, some teachers are mean, yes. And if they get to the point where they're too mean, please do not like just think because they're authority that you are not allowed to say anything, because that's not true. You are allowed to speak up. Like, just don't be a brat to them. Don't like yell at them just because, but like if they're yelling at you and you feel like it's not justified, then yeah, go right ahead, yell back. You can report it, you can talk to somebody else about it, you can talk to another teacher that you trust. Teachers can be mean, but that doesn't mean they have the right to step all over you. This question came from Lydia. Did you feel different when you graduated? I'm about to graduate and I still feel like a freshman. Yes and no. Being a senior feels very like you feel excited. Like hearing about senior year growing up was just like the craziest thing. Like senior pranks, senior trips, senior skip day, all that stuff amazed me for the longest time. But once I got there, I was like, holy crap, I'm a senior. Like I'm about to freaking skedaddle, and that's scary. I did still feel like a freshman at one point. I did feel different, and it was just a whole bunch of mix of emotions. Like I definitely felt like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be an adult now. Like I'm about to graduate, I'm about to go out into the real world. Once I graduated, it took me until the month before going to college, packing everything up, going to orientations, doing all this stuff for it to finally hit me. And I'm like, wow, this is weird. You're gonna feel different. You're gonna feel a whole bunch of mixed emotions. You're gonna feel sad, you're gonna feel happy, you're gonna feel pissed, you're gonna feel scared. The feelings are real. They are valid. Whatever you were feeling, they're valid. So this question came from Ashlyn. Biggest piece of advice for senior year. Okay, hear me out. You ready for this? Don't give a fuck. And I know some people are gonna be like, what? What do you mean it's senior year? Yeah, but it's senior year. Obviously, pay attention, get your grades up, but like honestly, do not stress so hard. Literally just don't do it. You are fine. I promise you, you are okay. Like I stressed so much junior and senior year that like I missed almost everything. I was so worried about getting into college. I was so worried about getting my grades up. I was so worried about making sure I had time for everything. It wasn't until like a couple months before graduation I was like, why am I stressed so much? I'm literally about to leave. It is almost impossible for you to not graduate, especially in our school. Like if you made it this far and you've never failed a class, if you've never like had to be held back or whatever, like it is nearly impossible for you to fail. Like you have to try really fucking hard, and I feel like that is harder than trying your best. Once you made it to senior year, you already made it. You're Gucci. So that is my biggest piece of advice to you. Just fucking live your life. Don't be stupid. Don't be starting fights. Don't be like calling teachers bitches to their faces, you know, but like at the same time, go to parties, have fun. Like don't stay up until 4 a.m. trying to study for this test that you're probably gonna pass anyway. Like just literally just mellow. You've worked so hard the last 3 years. It's like if your passion is doing a certain sport, if it's doing a certain like class, focus all of your energy on that. Do not worry about anything else. Literally nothing else matters because you already made it. You're about to graduate. You need to live your life in your last year of high school. So now I'm going to talk about like my personal experience with college. I'm going to try to be very honest but also not rude about it. So I personally think I chose the wrong school, which I know I just talked about choosing the right school. 8 times out of 10, you are going to pick the perfect college for you right off the bat. I knew people when I went to school, they had already been to 2 different other schools or another school before because it just didn't work out for them. And that is totally fine. That is okay. It's a hit and miss type thing. During your senior year and even junior year, I remember going like on college tours and like campuses or whatever. Like that's your best time is to find out if you like the school, if you like the drive to the school, if you like the dorms that they have. That is your time to search and find your school. I did that. I went on so many different college tours with my school. I went on different college tours with different friends trying to find the right school, and I still ended up picking the wrong one. Just because it didn't work out for me doesn't mean it's gonna work out for you. So I chose a Christian school. I chose Ohio Christian University. I thought that was the perfect plan for me, that I had always wanted to go there, that I've seen so many people come from that college like talking about it, preaching about it, it and I wanted to go there. But as I was there, I realized slowly that it was not for me. Going on a college tour is different than actually being in college. They had us go to chapel almost every morning, and you go to chapel, you have to sign in, you have to make sure that you're there, you got to sit through the whole thing, and then you go about your day with your classes. For me, that slowly got tiring because I realized that was not for me. Like, I was not having fun. Also, freshman year, almost all of your classes were based around Christianity, which like I knew was expected, but I was going for music education. I wanted to be a music teacher. I wanted to learn more about music. I wanted to expand my vocal range. I wanted to do a whole bunch of different stuff. And I was not allowed to do that because I only had 2 classes. 2 out of 9 classes that were actually music related. So it was just very frustrating doing that because I was not going for a ministry. I was not going to learn more about the Bible, about God. I was going for music. And I felt like I had the right to feel that way because that's why I went to college. That's why I was living on campus, to be closer so that I could learn more. But out of all my classes, I only had 2 classes that were actually music related. So that was one of the reasons why it was not a good choice for me. I couldn't be open about my sexuality at that time either because it was a Christian-based school, and even like the slightest mention of anything gay, like you got the dirtiest looks. And like I'd make jokes that I realized that like straight people don't understand, and they would just be like, huh? I'm like, oh right. My bad. Okay. And I had already been out at that time. Like I'd been out for 6 years at that point, and I was like, I'm not going back in the closet. I want to be out. I want to be as gay as humanly possible. So along with that, I have a question from Mackenzie. She says, I just want to know if you think college is worth it. In my opinion, if I would have chosen a different college or had a different experience there, I would say yes, it is worth it. It is mainly about you. So if you think you want to do something that needs a degree, then yes, it is worth it to go to college. But at the same time, like there are jobs you can have that you do not have to go to college for and make great money. I worked in an eyeglass factory for almost a year at one point, and I was making $15 an hour. No degree, no nothing. I literally went through training for like 2 days, and then there I am making 15 bucks. That's just totally up to you. If I can make money without losing money, I'm gonna do that. Does that make sense? I hope that answers your question because that's just how I think of it personally. This is a question from Allie. How much has college changed your life? Again, because I was only there for a semester, it made me look at life differently. That is definitely for sure. I, in high school, had friends, but I wasn't with a whole group. I never put myself in a group of friends because I was just a very bubbly person. I talked to anybody who talked to me. So I never really put myself in a certain group. But in college, it was kind of like forced upon us, like with our first week of orientation. Like, and I know I said that was a good thing, and it was a good thing because you can make friends. But at the same time, like once you were in that group, I felt like some people like felt trapped. And I had a certain friend group and we were together all the time, and there were so many of us. And I don't want to say I'm an introvert, but I kind of am. Like I can only handle 2-3 people max at a time. Like our friend group was huge, and it was just overwhelming for me, especially when they all wanted to hang out and they all wanted to do this, and then we couldn't decide what we wanted to do, and like some people started dating within the circle, and it was a mess. So like that just really put me in perspective in life. I feel like that's just how I can function more. If I only have a couple friends, I don't need a whole friend group. So yeah, in a way it did change my life. It did make me realize that I'm more of an introvert than I thought I was. Okay, so another question from Lydia. When you were a freshman in college, did you feel like the bottom of the food chain just like in high school? Actually, no, because a lot of people were very open to the freshmen. They were like, oh my gosh, listen, here's this teacher, here's this, here's that. Life is great. There was like one of my favorite teachers from that college, and she was a psychology teacher, and she had a whole thing that she did every year with the freshmen. And I know a couple people that watch me are going to this college, so I'm not gonna try to spill the beans too much, but when it was going on with our freshman class, like it divided most of our freshman class, because some people were on the teacher side, some people were like, what the fuck is going on? And we would all go to the upperclassmen and be like, yo, listen, did she ever do this to you? And they were not allowed to talk about it. But that sort of thing, like the upperclassmen, it wasn't because they didn't like us, it was literally because like it was an ongoing joke. Everyone was just so like tightly knitted. It was cool. I didn't feel like I was the bottom of the food chain. No, I felt like all of the upperclassmen were very welcoming, very open about everything. It was nice. Yeah, because when you start freshman in high school, you do feel like the bottom of the food chain because like the seniors are big, tough people, they're older. But once you got to college, it was so nice. Like that was the reason why like me as a senior and like most of the freshmen, I tried to put them under my wing because I didn't want them to feel like the bottom of the food chain, because I felt like that. Like I didn't want them to feel like seniors were scary and big mean people. Like no, I wanted them to know that like there are good people in this world. And I wanted to help them as much as I could because I understand high school is fucking awful. So I tried my best to make sure that the freshmen didn't feel like the bottom of the food chain. I wanted them to feel like they were either at the same level as me or even higher as me, because I wanted them to know that like it was gonna be okay. And that's how I felt when I went to college. I felt like the seniors there felt the same way. They were like, no, we understand college is scary. Let me just swoop you in real quick. A question from Kaya. Why is it so damn expensive? Bitch. I don't know. That is a great question. Because our government sucks? I don't know. Because taxes? Ask Trump. And a couple questions from Millie. Is college better than high school? To an extent. You do feel a little freer. You are on your own unless you want to stay home. That's totally up to you. But at the same time, like, you are in a different environment. So in a way, yes, but in a way, no, because college can still be bad. Like I said earlier, like I wasn't allowed to talk about my sexuality. High school, I could. But in high school, you get judged for the tiniest things. In college, no one gives a fuck. And she also asked, is life easier to balance in high school or in college? Honestly, I felt it was easier to balance my life in high school than it was in college. But that is also because I lived on campus. So whenever I had to work, I had to drive out of campus to go to my job. And I had rehearsals for my choir, sometimes in the same nights that I had to work. So I had to either miss choir or I had to call off work, which sucked because I was putting myself in a bad situation either way. It was weird because definitely in high school I had more freedom, if that makes any sense. Like I lived 10 minutes away from the busiest town, you know, where everything was, so I could just get up and leave, or I can go straight from high school to go to grocery shopping, go hang out with friends or do this and that. But in college, like I had a certain schedule that I had to follow. Different days I had different class, different times, so I couldn't really plan around it. And most of my other friends who were in college or in high school, I couldn't see them. So I definitely think it was easier to balance life in high school than it was in college. Cheyenne asked, what's something you wish you would have done your senior year? Oof, a lot. Like I said earlier, I wish I would have loosened up a little bit. I definitely wish I would have experienced more than I did. But I'm not saying like party-wise or like dating people or doing anything like that, but like just, I wish I would have spoken up more. I wasn't shy, definitely not shy, but at the same time, like my anxiety wouldn't allow me to say certain things that I wanted to say. And I wish I definitely would have done that. I wish I would have like stood up for myself more. I wish I would have been more of an open person to talk to more people. Like I said earlier, I wasn't really in a group, but like I also knew that I didn't belong in other groups, if that makes sense. Like the people who had their certain groups, I always felt like I couldn't put myself in them, you know? Like I wish I would have like been open more. I wish I would have been more bold with things. Like if I had a crush on a guy, I wish I could have been like, yo, bitch, listen up, fucking cute, kiss me. I wish I could talk like I do now. Like I feel more confident after graduating, and I wish I could go back in time and tell myself, yo, just fucking do it, full send. I wish I would have just lived a little. That's basically the end of it. Like I wish I would have done more in general. Another question from Michaela. She asked me, how do I not die? And I think she means high school. That's a good question. It's hard. It really is hard. Trying to keep yourself afloat is tough. Not just in high school, just in life. It's tough. The main thing for me, I just surrounded myself with things that I loved and less of things that I hated. I tried not to put too much on my plate. I tried to keep it very simple. I tried to look positive at things. Like if I was having a bad day, I would try to think about it. Okay, yeah, I'm having a shitty day today, but at least I have cute shoes on, or at least I brushed my teeth today, you know, just little things. That's how I kept myself afloat. Like even if I was feeling the worst I've ever felt, I always try to think of something. I woke up today. I probably didn't want to, but at the same time I did, and there's a reason for that. And I know that's way easier said than done, but as you get older, it will make more sense. Like you have to keep that mindset, because if you were down in the dumps all the time, and I understand it is hard to not be, but if you were dragging yourself along, if you were barely getting out of bed, if you're barely doing this, you're just gonna keep feeling worse. And there's nothing wrong with sleeping for 12, 24 hours at a time, you know? There's nothing wrong with that, but if you keep doing that, you're never gonna get out of it. If you stay in bed, that's fine, but sit up. Don't lay down the whole day. And the next day, you sit up and you cross your legs. And then the next day, you sit up and you have a drink of water. The little thing, you just gotta do that until you get to the point where you can get out of bed, where you can get up and get dressed, where you can get up and brush your teeth. That's how I kept myself afloat. That's how I didn't die in high school. Rachel asked, what is the worst thing about freshman year of college? Honestly, just the transition. I can't even think of anything that was awful, other than like the classes that I had. That was the only thing that was like kind of bad, but freshman year of college was great. Overall, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Like there was nothing awful about it. There was nothing that made me want to die, made me want to go back to high school, you know, like it was okay. Those are all the questions that I have. Again, I know since I only went for like a semester, I don't have as much knowledge as somebody else who's gone through the whole experience, but that was just my experience and what I can give to you. I hope it was enough to answer some of your questions to the best of my abilities. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I hope you all have a great day.